Hey guys, welcome to today's lesson. We're looking at types of angles. I guess before we look at types of angles, just a quick review about what an angle is. Let's say, for example, that I've got a little book here. Okay, it's a bit hard to see. A little book here. If I open the front cover of my book, for example, that's my book, and I'm going to open it up. Let's say, for example, that's the cover of my book. I opened it up. The angle is the amount of turn between the front and the back of the book. Obviously, I haven't opened up my book the full way. If I open up the full way, my book would sort of look like this. And what would have happened, the book would have opened all the way around until it's a flat line or a straight line. So again, the angle would be the amount of turn from the front cover to the back cover. What do we measure the angle or the amount of turn? We measure the amount of turn in degrees. So for example, that might be 40 degrees, okay, between there. Sometimes you can actually go past the 180 and you might go, kind of like bending the book in half, I guess. You're bending it backwards. And all of a sudden you have that straight turn, and then it goes even further. So obviously you're going to have a bigger angle. So basically, again, the angle is the amount of turn between two particular lengths. I'm not sure that's the best description, but certainly it's my description. So what are different types of angles? You probably will know a couple of these. First of all, we have the acute angle. You might know that acute angle is an angle that is between 0 degrees and 90 degrees. Okay, so anywhere between 0 and 90 degrees is what we call an acute angle. The next angle we often look at is the right angle. A right angle is exactly 90 degrees. Often denoted by a little square, showing that it is going to be a right angle. The third one, if you go past the right angle, we then create what we call an obtuse angle, which is bigger than 90 degrees. However, it is less than 180 degrees. What happens when it gets to 180 degrees? It becomes what we call a straight angle. Because if that's my turn, it's gone all the way around till it goes flat again. So we have what we call a straight angle, kind of like a straight line, I guess. And that's exactly 180 degrees. If we go past that 180 degrees, we get what we call a reflex angle, which often can be denoted, kind of looks like an acute angle. However, instead of doing the inside angle, we do the outside part. It means it's gone past 180 degrees to further. So it means it's between 180 degrees and 360 degrees. So what is the last angle, you might ask? You might remember this as the revolutionary angle, or angle of revolution, which often kind of looks like this, all the way around. And that is exactly 360 degrees. So these are the main 6 types of angles. Now, some of these are very, very important, particularly when you start looking at finding the unknown angles. Your right angle is probably your most significant angle that you will learn. You see them everywhere. But also your straight angle is also very significant. And I'm going to go a little bit further with these 2 angles. You might get a situation where you have a question where you have a straight line and it's cut in sort of, not in half, but it's cut into 2 pieces by another line. And what you might find, you might have an angle there which we don't know the value of. In that case, we can call that angle X. And we have another angle there. Let's say it's going to be 120 degrees. Now, what type of angle is this? Well, hopefully you remember this to be what we call a straight angle. Can you remember what the size of a straight angle is? Well, hopefully you remember that a straight angle is equal to 180 degrees. So, if this whole angle, that 120 plus that extra little bit equals 180, can you figure out what the value of x might be? Well, if I do it a little bit longer way, I'm going to say x plus 120 degrees equals 180 degrees. Remembering that, we should always give a reason why that's happened. Why did it equal 180 degrees? Because it was a straight angle. So what must x equal? Well, looking at it, you can probably tell that x would have been 60 degrees, but if we do it the correct way, the opposite of plus 120 is minus 120 degrees, which leaves me with x is equal to 60 degrees, and I've now found the value of x using some of my angles that we just learned about. So that's a straight angle, and it's always important when you write that first line of working out, you should always state what type of angle it was. What about this type of angle? This question might say something like, find the value of A, or just find A. Well, what type of angle do we have here? You might notice that we have a little box here. Can you remember what type of angle that was? That is what we call a right angle. And how much was a right angle equal to? 90 degrees. So like the last question, I'm going to start by saying, if I add A and 30 together, the answer will equal 90 degrees. Why is that the case? Well, it's because we have a right angle. Therefore, if I do it the correct way, the opposite of plus 30 is subtract 30. Therefore, A will equal 60 degrees. I've now found my value of A, and most important, I've given the reason that it is a right angle. So looking at those different types of angles, just a quick recap. We have the acute angle, the right angle, which is very important because our right angle, as we have seen there, we use in some proofing on trying to find the missing angle like A and X. We have our obtuse angle, our straight angle, which is another very important one, the reflex and angle of revolution. That last one was our right angle proof. We also had our straight angle proof. They're pretty important, guys. Certainly before you go on to the next one, looking at vertically opposite and angles at a point, you need to be really familiar with your straight angles and your right angles. Have a fantastic day, guys. I hope this was useful too.